You got a minute?
You must be part of my hangover.
And I hope the wax in your ears didn't stop you from hearing, pal.
I'll remember your face.
I'll try to forget yours.
What about the bartender?
I let him have it over the head with a peanut machine. Run along, darling, before I fracture your spine.
Is the gun loaded?
You want to find out?
No, I'm happy at just guessing.
You don't have to say anything and you don't have to do anything.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
If you're the police, where are your badges?
I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Welcome to the Speakeasy Noir Cast, a podcast discussing film noirs of yesterday and neo-noirs of today. Each week, we will deliver a discussion and analysis of classic and neo-noir films, all mixed in with our unintelligible banter. Your hosts for the show, Carly Street and Jason D. Morris.
Oh, thank you for the t-shirt, by the way.
Does it fit? Is it all right?
Yeah, it's so cool. I was going to wear it today, but Lily's been wearing my stuff, and she claims that she hasn't worn it, but I don't have it in my wardrobe, so usually it's in her room.
Oh. Man, that took me so long to even get that to you. I'm so sorry. I forgot.
Oh, no, it's fine. My dad was all over that. I tell you what, he was literally over my shoulder rummaging about. He's like, what's happening with that Sherlock hat? Just have it.
I think that was in there because you asked for it for your dad.
I think it probably did, but honest to God, he was like a kid at Christmas. Just back away.
That's funny. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Did you get his keychains and stuff?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, all that other crap in there, it's probably like it's just going to sit around now. I think some of it was for like the Kickstarter campaign stuff, but all right. So.
Yeah, my dad put a DVD in a frame. So.
Oh, cool. Nice. Stuff. All right.
Did you have a nice Christmas?
Yeah, it was all right. We normally, well, I wouldn't say normally, but the past several years we kind of have been having Christmas outside of the house. Like we'd go up to Reno or Dad's cabin or something like that. But this year we did it here at home. But yeah, it was nice and quiet. It was nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Go anywhere, but yeah. I think the kids miss going up to Reno. I guess.
Yeah, but sometimes it's nice to have a difference.
Yep. We got a fake tree we've had for almost, 15, 20 years that we put up. Occasionally, the kids for a couple of years were like, we want a real tree. So we get a real tree, and they're like super expensive. I think
messy.
Year before last, yeah. What do you guys do? Do you guys put up a tree or do a fake tree? Or
yeah, what? We have a fake tree because I don't have the patience for a real tree. By the time we've got it through the front door, half of it's gone and it's on the floor.
Well,
so my socks.
That's funny. Ours is so old that it's that way anyway. So it's almost like a real tree, and it's funny because it doesn't look like it's losing any of the pine needles, but they are all over the floor. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think a real tree is easier for me because the way ours gets put together, you got to put each little branch in. But I don't know. It's a pain.
Each little branch. We literally have two pieces. Bish, bash, bosh. God, not even bish, bash, bosh. It's like bish.
I've seen that. I wish ours was. Ours is literally every single branch. It's got 10 tiers that go up, and the branches get smaller as you go. So you got to organize them into the right size. And they got little tags, like color tags, I think, on them that tell you which level it goes to. And then you got to put every single little branch in. But yeah, I've seen those ones that are already put together, and it's just like you just pop one section on top of the other. That's pretty cool.
And then you just bend them back into shape because they've got shit wire in them.
Right. Yeah, no. Ours is a little more difficult, unfortunately. But, all right. Yeah. So did you guys celebrate New Year's as well, or do you guys do anything for that?
We went out for a party for the first time in like 10 years.
Very cool.
Yeah, we dressed up. We were the only people dressed up, so we won the bar tab.
Oh, cool. Nice. And what did you guys dress as? Like, what did you do? It was like, were you like a firework and what? He was a match, or?
Oh, no, that would have been cool. No, we were the Addams family.
Oh, no kidding.
We even had a thing. We had like a disposable glove covered like in flour inside it, and then we painted little weird fingernails on it, and we carried it around. That's
hilarious. Why haven't I've not seen any pictures of this? Have you posted them? Did I just miss them?
Yeah, I think so. They posted a couple, but we didn't it wasn't all of us together, so it just looked like I changed my hair and Street had put a suit on.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because Lily would not have a picture taken properly as Wednesday. She was having a right sulk.
Now she how old is she now?
12.
12. And out there, is she able to go to the bar with you, the pub?
She's allowed to go to our local bar because we know the people.
Oh, but like if cops showed up, you could get in trouble.
Yeah. No, not really. Because she doesn't stay in there late anyway. She only goes in there in the daytime because we don't go out in the evening. Too many weirdos. Right. But they find her quite adorable for some ridiculous reason. They think she's helpful, so they're like, bring her down.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I saw recent pictures, man. She looks just like you. It's crazy.
You think? Yeah. I think she looks like Street.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, she definitely looks like both of you guys, but like, she really looks like you.
Poor sod.
No.
She's got my attitude. I tell you what, some Street has left the house before now because we've been rabbiting at each other and bickering, and he's like, it's like I'd separated into two people, but one was smaller. Because I won't back down and she won't back down, and then she starts saying the same things as me.
Oh man, I don't blame him.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Like,
British speak.
Hasn't got a headache.
British speak, real quick. Did you say rabbiting?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like prattling.
Prattling?
Do you know what prattling is?
I don't know.
Rambling.
Is that like walking loudly? Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, like when I go off on a tangent and ramble?
Yes. Okay, yeah.
It's like that, but more aggressive and probably making a little bit less sense.
Okay. Is that because rabbits are allowed in the UK?
I've absolutely no idea, and no, they're not really.
Okay.
I've never heard a loud rabbit anyway.
Right. Just Roger.
It's Roger.
That's funny. What else? What are those? Say there was Valentine's Day that came up. We haven't talked since. You guys celebrate that, or do you guys do anything for Valentine's Day? Is that a UK thing, or is it?
We the UK do. Mean Street don't. But I did get a present for my car for Valentine's Day.
Oh, nice! You love your car.
Yeah,
sweet.
I do. It's new because my other car finally crapped out and died.
Oh, did it? Okay. Well, I mean, according to you can't drive anyway, so.
I know. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. What happened to it?
It went to my dad's. Well, he literally went to my dad's house to die. It started off making a funny noise, and all the boy racers would beep at me because they thought that I'd changed my exhaust to make this noise, and it was just the car making the noise. So I don't fully know what that was, but
the
something
first
to do
time
with
in your life you were part of the club.
I was down with the kids. I was like, yeah, man, rev.
That's great.
rev, stall. So it started off making a noise. Then I was driving to work, and it just made this like badunk noise. And this is after I'd ran over a cat. And
You ran over a cat?
It ran out in front of me, okay? So
there's probably like cat parts like stuck in like your serpentine belt or something, or like in your engine parts. So you got like bones flying around.
Yeah, I feel like there's fur like going around somewhere inside of it. And I hit a big puddle as well. And so it just started making really bad noises. And then I opened the window, and then the window would not go back up. The window just broke. It was just permanently down. And I was like, I live in a rough area, Dad. They're going to have every piece of the inside of the car out by the end of the week. So I drove it to my dad's house so we could try and fix the window, and it just fucking died. It just went to my dad and went, no more.
It's like, no more cats.
He's like, God take it. So then I had to go trailing around trying to get another one as a pauper, haggling stuff. But yeah, I've got one, and it has brake assist, and it beeps at me when I go backwards if I'm too close to a wall.
Oh, great. Yeah, my car has that. That's funny.
Every time you mention the word phone, it tries to like connect for emergency assistance, which I don't think it's driving.
It's
so
just Charlie again. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's just me. Just in fifth, going around a corner. It's fine.
That's hilarious.
So I bought it a little sloth that says I think it says I slow you so much, or I don't know. It says something that's funny that's sloth related, and it has a love heart on its foot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Slow you. That's funny.
Yeah. I put it with its little cushion in the back seat.
What kind of car is this? What kind of car was your old one, and what's the new one?
The old one was a Ford Fiesta, and this one is a Ford Fiesta. It's just 10 years newer than my old one. But it's a 5-door, so I have 2 like extra doors that I can use. Like a
5-door? Where's the 5th door?
I think the boot is classed as even though it's not.
The trunk. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You got the same damn car?
Pretty much, except this one's magenta.
Oh, what was the last one? Blue or something? I think
it was red.
Red. Okay. Well, magenta and red's pretty close.
With a checkered roof.
Oh, interesting. So it's like one of those little like Mini Coopers or something, huh?
Yeah,
the Ford Fiesta is pretty tiny, huh?
Yeah. Well, this one's a little bit bigger, to be fair.
Well, that's good.
I can't figure out how big the front of the car is still because the seat's so high. I don't understand. Well, I wish there was a sensor on the front to tell me if I was near stuff at the front. Because I'm usually not. I'm usually miles away.
You'll get used to that, maybe.
I hope so.
Oh, that's funny. Anything else going on? Any birthdays? Any new stuff? What you been up to besides the holidays?
Not really.
No,
no, it's so Lily's birthday's in April. Like she keeps reminding us.
Yeah, I remember it's fairly near Autumn and Shawnee's birthday. Yeah, Autumn's in March. No, 14. Autumn's is in April as well, and Shawnee's is in March. They're like almost a month apart.
That's going to get more and more expensive as you get on.
Nah, it's getting cheaper and cheaper, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Here's a bottle of wine. Here's another bottle of wine.
Well, no, everything I get Shawnee, she returns. And then Autumn is so particular, like she has to figure out what she wants like 4 months in advance. Yeah, so there's plenty of time to, get stuff and whatever.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I was waiting for Harry's book for Christmas. I'm still bloody waiting.
Harry's book?
Yeah, I'm going to have to buy it myself, aren't I? I don't want to spend £12 on it.
Who's Harry?
Harry, Prince Harry.
I don't know what you're he's the one that married to Markle? To Meghan Markle. Okay. I didn't know he was making a book. Okay.
Yeah.
What's his book? Is this where he's like talking crap about his family? Is that what it is?
Yes,
I think I vaguely heard something about that.
I am only there for the insults. That's it.
Oh, man.
I couldn't care less, but I really, really want to know why Prince William punches him. So.
Punches him? I don't
know. I don't know. Oh my God. It's like keeping up with the Windsors. Is Harry the one that killed somebody
and it's been covered up, or was that like the dad or something? I can't remember.
No, that's our king.
That's the king. Okay.
That's the man that's in charge of things. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I got a 50p with his face on it. It looks so weird.
That's funny.
Don't like it.
I was just looking at the Sherlock coin that you sent me a couple days ago. Yeah.
So imagine that, right? But without the hair, and it's exactly the same.
Just took
He's
the
probably
Sherlock
even got the
image.
pearl necklace on it as well.
That's funny.
Honestly, it's like, do you know what? If anybody from the royal family is ever listening, I've got an idea. What we'll do is we'll get cameras in and we'll vote them out like Big Brother. We'll just pick a new fucking royal family.
I wish they would do that. I wish they.
Yeah,
they should
we'll
do that
just
here
literally,
too.
we'll start off with all of the people that are supposed to be in the royal family, and we'll just give them challenges where they pelt stuff at each other. I mean, they can kill each other, to be honest. I don't really mind.
It's not even based on whether you actually like them or not. It's just based on challenges.
Yeah, and then we as a country, we will vote them in and vote them out, and then we have an option to put other people in. Like I'd like to put Keanu Reeves in the royal family, so I think that would be like a wild card. So he could go in and just like mellow everybody out for a few weeks.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, he'd probably be a great leader. I'm sure he would. Just don't hurt his dog.
That's that. Everybody would probably get free dogs. Like every household would get free
motorcycles.
Dogs.
They get free motorcycles.
We don't get motorcycles, a car, a gun, and a dog.
Right. Oh boy.
I would support that coronation, I tell you.
All right. Well, I guess we better jump into this. We're watching a pretty celebrated film tonight. I was surprised at how high the ratings are in this film. I thought I had seen this, Carly, and I hadn't.
Yeah, had you seen it?
I don't know. I think I got it mixed up with The Stranger. For some reason. Because when you mentioned to me that we should watch this film, I for whatever reason, The Third Man, I knew Orson Welles was in it. But for some reason I thought it was the movie The Stranger, because that's the story I had in my head. And then I wanted to watch it. I was like, oh no, I haven't seen this.
It's totally not it.
Yeah. So, but anyways, before we even get into that, we got to do the drink for tonight. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, did I already spoil it? Did I already say what the name of the movie is? Well, I guess it doesn't matter because it's in our titles. I don't know. I feel like that's something we got to fix, but I don't know how to fix that. So, it's like,
I don't know. Could you imagine coming up with like names for episodes? We can't even come up with names for films.
Right. We'll just call them. We'll just number them.
We'll just number them.
Speakeasy number 1, number 2, number 3. Right, and then we can withhold information without spoiling shit. I don't know.
It's never going to happen. That's because
right.
because we'd write it in the synopsis.
That's true, right?
And we'd be like, oh yeah, we don't spoil anything. On this week's episode, we watch The Third Man.
However, if you do our synopsis as you're in a nutshell, or like an alternate version of it, because then that would spoil your segment there. I don't know what the right answer is, but anyway. All right. So tonight's drink is called the Baby Killer.
What?
Which relates to this film, unfortunately. The Baby Killer is a half ounce of banana liqueur and half ounce of Jägermeister.
God, that sounds disgusting.
Right, I know. I think it's supposed to look like baby poop or something. I'm not really sure.
Oh, but it does as well, doesn't it?
Right. And it's served in a martini glass for some reason. I guess because it's such a small amount of liquid. And it's real easy. You just mix the two together and pour it into the glass. And I did some research on it because I could not find any banana liqueur, which I don't know why. I mean, you could find a lot of different things. Like my equivalent of that is probably just air, because I think I lost my temper yesterday and the day
breathing.
before. Right, just breathing, just being alive is my equivalent to your vodka.
The
man, hated by 1,000 men,
Desired by one woman.
the third man, hanging is too good for him.
Nothing is too good for the third man.
Her man was the third man.
The man on every woman's lips.
Vienna, 1950. A city fearful of its present, uncertain of its future. Vienna, the once gay capital of a light-hearted people. Here in the shadows of its palaces and ruins is told with tenderness, drama, and suspense the story of the third man.
There was a third man there. I suppose that doesn't sound peculiar to you.
I'm not interested in whether a racketeer like Lime was killed by his friends or by an accident. The only important thing is that he's dead.
Third Man, the story of two men and one woman caught in the dangerous web of an international love affair.
Oh, please, for heaven's sake, stop making him in your image. Harry was real. He wasn't just your friend and my lover.
No, I don't know. I'm just a hack writer who drinks too much and falls in love with girls. You?
Me?
Don't be such a fool, of course.
The Third Man. Joseph Cotton in his most successful performance as an American caught in a whirlpool of continental intrigue. The glamorous Valley is the mysterious Viennese actress who knew the secret of the Third Man.
All right, that was the trailer for the 1949 British film noir, The Third Man, who I mistaken it for The Stranger, which I think is an American film. Can't remember. However, this is a very celebrated British film, and it's directed by Carol Reed, written by Graham Greene, and starring Joseph Cotton, Alida Valli, I think, and Orson Welles and Trevor Howard. And it's interesting that it's a British film and it has two very good friends, Joseph Cotton and Orson Welles, in it. And I couldn't find any information on how that really came about. I'm sure it's out there, but I'm assuming that there's some reason that those two are, working together again. As everyone I'm sure knows, saw them as well in Citizen Kane. I thought, I didn't know what I was in for really, because when I first put this movie on, I thought it was the movie The Stranger. Quickly realized that it was not.
That would have been so funny if you'd just carried on with this assumption that you'd seen it. Remember it really well.
Right. And then we just got to
this episode.
Yeah. It would have been. The thing is that there's a lot of imagery in the movie that I recognize because of studying like film noir and being in film school and just seeing images out there in various like film noir books and cinematography books and things like that. So there was a lot of things that even though I hadn't seen the movie, I was extremely familiar with visually, but having not really just didn't know what the movie was about. But before we get into that, Carly's going to tell us what the movie is about with her super amazing special in a nutshell synopsis. And now it's time for Carly's super famous in a nutshell synopsis.
I don't know if this is going to make sense. Just forward. A shadowy tale of confused ethics, odd friendship, electrifying cameos, and a peculiar love affair set in a devastated world.
Yeah, because this is sort of like post World War II, right?
I read a review that said it was like the aftermath of Casablanca or something like that, which I thought was fantastic.
That's hilarious. Maybe there's sort of like side sequels. That's funny.
That'd be brilliant. The carnage created after.
No, that's actually a great sort of way to put it, because they both have that sort of love story and war themed ideas behind them with their little mysteries. I think that's pretty accurate, really. Yeah, it is. It's I think that I don't understand why the movie is celebrated as much as it is, or has such high ratings, but I want to find out from you, because you're British, and it's a British film, and it's I believe it's been voted or is regularly on like lists as being the best British film ever.
I think it is. I think it has. I think it's been voted. I can't think off the top of my head, but it might be like the BFI or something like that.
Probably, yeah. Oh, speaking of the BFI, I want to fucking murder their app, but we'll get to that later.
Why? Oh, okay. We'll get to the murder later. And I don't think, I could be wrong, and I'm sure somebody will correct me. I don't think it's just a film noir list. I think it is just a general, any genre British film list as well.
Yeah, you Brits.
So it's competing with everything.
Yeah, you guys hold this very high esteem. And I don't get it. Sorry.
I know. I mean, the
39 Steps. I get.
Yeah, they very much like the 39 Steps, and that's the one with Kenneth More in, when it takes him 25 years on a bicycle in a pair of shorts.
No, not that one. Isn't Hitchcock British? But it's not American, is it?
They like that. They like that one. I think they like that one more, but they are a big fan of the Kenneth More one. The Robert Powell one is the one that people in the UK do not like.
Huh, interesting.
Except for me.
Right, yeah.
Robert Powell.
The one where he's riding around on the bike, that was the worst, man.
Yeah, I think so too, but I'm pretty certain that probably rates higher. Or, not as high as the original, but like second.
It's hilarious, just, he's wearing like shorts and has his shirt unbuttoned and riding around the bike. I mean, that's just, I don't know. It's just
like, the sandwich.
I'll just lay in the grass here.
Get a bit of sun in the Highlands.
So funny. Yeah, I'm having a hard time remembering. I should know this stuff. You think if we're doing this podcast, people out there listening would expect us to drink and know things. Unfortunately, we just drink. So think
I've never really known things, to be honest, full disclosure.
The Hitchcock movie, was that the last British movie that he made, or a UK film, or was it his first American film? I can't remember. I thought it was still
was his first American film Psycho? No, that was too late, wasn't it?
Later. Yeah. I can't remember, but for some reason I was thinking that was a British one. Maybe it's just because of the actors and setting and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. To me, I think it was
his last British film was Jamaica Inn. And his first Hollywood film was Rebecca.
Oh, Rebecca. Okay.
Rebecca was the first American.
What year was that?
Rebecca, I'm not sure. Was it 40?
Well, because the 39 Steps was in the 30s, right? Like 39 or something? No, not 30.
Yeah. No, it was quite early though.
Now, how cool would that have been if they released it in 1939?
Well, Jamaica Inn was 1939.
Was it? Okay, so it probably was still British then. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, I would say that it's much better than The Third Man in my opinion, but, whatever. You guys have interesting taste.
It's because we're all drunk. That's what it is. Hey, I like this. There's a shadow. Hey.
Right. Yeah. Well, the things that I did like about it are what it's really known for. So I guess that's a positive. Except for one thing, which I vehemently hate. Did I say that right? Vehemently.
You did.
Vehemently. I'm going to have to look that up.
I think we need to get a voice assist for you.
Yeah, like an AI thing.
Like a little keyboard. Yeah.
I don't even have to get on the call. They can just have Arnold Schwarzeneggo do it. Anybody, right?
That's so cool.
Wouldn't it be great? Yeah, you could be Keanu Reeves, and then yeah.
Oh yes, please. I'd be like, whoa, no way, man.
I know. Entire conversation be like, whoa.
No way. Well, I like it because Trevor Howard's in it. Maybe that's why a lot of people like it, because he's quite... Obviously, you've got Orson Welles, but you've got Trevor Howard as well. And British people tend to like when there's somebody familiar that's
he's
not
the
necessarily
cop
elite.
Military cop guy? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Because he was in the Battle of Britain, I think.
I haven't seen
Battle of Britain, and that had that had all the sort of loved British actors at the time in various sort of, a bit like Oceans, where they had different aged people, but they were very quite known and sort of liked across Hollywood. It's a bit like that.
Oceans, like people that are on boats and stuff in the ocean. I don't know.
Oceans 11, the Oceans 11 and 12 films, like that kind of cast, if you know what I mean. They had the older people that were sort of not
it's
to be unkind, but edging the way out.
An ensemble not elderly, an ensemble mature cast.
Yeah, and then they had the younger ones, like the equivalent of Michael Caine or whatever, so it was like a good mix of good
actors and bad actors is what you're trying to say.
Well, yeah, pretty much. But Trevor Howard was one of the good ones. So.
All right, cool. No, I've never seen that. Should I?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, Battle of the Britons. So you guys are fighting yourself? Yes. No. It's like the Civil War out here. No.
No.
What is it?
Right. What? You're going to watch it and you're going to play a game. See how many people you can recognise.
Oh, shit. If it's a British movie, I won't recognise any of them.
No, you will. You'll recognise some.
Okay.
And I think it'd be really interesting to hear you get the films wrong as well. Because I'm absolutely convinced that you're going to think two people are not the two people that you think the two people are.
That's 100% possible. Shawnee and I do that all the time. I'll be like, oh, that's that person from that movie. She's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I swear to God, I look it up. And I'm wrong. Yep. So,
then you got to style it out.
Who? What? Style it out?
Then you got to try and style it out. Oh, yeah, I suppose maybe you might be right on this occasion, but he had a twin brother, so...
Whoa. Well, hold on. Okay. British dictionary again. I have to style it out?
Yeah. When you're so insistent that you're right about something, and then you realise halfway through that you're not, but you don't want to give in.
Oh.
And admit that you're wrong. So you have to... No, because that's a lie. You style it out. So you go...
Lie in style?
You either lie in style or you exaggerate a tiny bit.
All right.
Or you just change the subject.
Okay, I'm understanding all those words. Those are all American words.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Yep. Style it out.
Yep.
What was the other one? Rabbiting?
Rabbiting and styling out.
Yeah, we're going to have to add a British to English dictionary on our website. I think that would be helpful for people.
I think so.
It would be helpful.
Yeah.
So but I guess before I get into that, we're getting kind of late in the podcast already, but the one thing I thought was kind of interesting is Graham Greene, who wrote the screenplay. Before he wrote the screenplay, he wrote a manuscript of sorts, which was basically like a book form of the screenplay. And he did that kind of as a trial before writing the screenplay. It's sort of like his way of writing, I guess, notes, what he's going to do, outlining it. But he did it in book form with no intentions of publishing it. However, the screenplay gets made into a movie and they end up publishing the book as well. And it's also a hit. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah. And then one of my least favorite things about the film is the music. And apparently that was just amazing to people. Love this music. And all I'm thinking in my head the entire time, which don't get me wrong, I love this show a lot. But the very first season of it has a particular theme song. And then the rest of the show has a different theme song. The first season, the theme song sounds not just like, but it's very similar to the theme song of this film. And that's Monk. If you've ever watched Monk, the first season sounds a lot like the show. So every time the music starts playing in this movie, I'm like, oh my God, it's Monk. And it's just
maybe that's a you issue, to be honest.
Maybe, yeah, because I know like this is like what the soundtrack was super popular for you guys. It was like on the charts in 1950, made the composer like a well-known name, all that kind of stuff. But it's super freaking annoying to me. Like, it's so annoying.
It's one of them because I normally find music really distracting, and I'm the first one to be like, oh God. But with this, I got where people were coming from, because if you see the reviews, a lot of people mention the music as one of the first things. They mention it over the like cinematography, the style, the acting, everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's the music. And actually my note is the first thing that I've written is about music, because I think because it's quite different. I don't know whether it was different for the time, like experimental maybe is the best word, but because it's quite joyful music, because it's sort of like juxtaposed with like this dark story, it kind of breeds to make something just different that you haven't quite seen before. And I think maybe that's why it was at least popular over here, because they didn't really take a lot of risks when it comes to films in Britain. It's like, it's very paint by numbers even now. You either have like a gangster, a romantic comedy, or just a slapstick comedy. There's not really a lot of stuff that comes in between very often. And when it does, it's like, oh my God, BAFTA. So because this straight away was a little bit out of the box, maybe that's why people latched onto it quite a lot. I don't know. I'm just speculating. No,
I think that's actually a good point. I feel like maybe it was a mistake, though. I think maybe that the composer didn't know what he was doing, and he wrote happy music to a not happy movie, and fucked up. And possible. Then it was grasped by the audience, and it was just a huge fucking rookie mistake that just turned out really well.
And they've spent all these years going, yep, we did that on purpose.
Right.
To be fair, that's something that would happen to us, though. We would have to lie for the next 25 years going, of course we meant to drop the camera and show that scene that way. Right,
yeah. No, I mean, shit like that happens. But, I mean, it's so, I don't know. It's kind of got like a Spanish-y sort of guitar. I don't know what it is. It's like a 100-string guitar in that opening credit sequence. He strings something up. What the hell is it? I don't know what instrument that is. But, I don't know. It's just, I will say that they used it properly. Like, they did it well. Like unfortunately, a lot of film noirs, I think, have these sort of big band, orchestral kind of things that are so over the top and distracting, kind of like you're talking about. That in this movie, I think that they used it a little more sparingly and subtly. It's just the style, I think, that really. There's only a couple times where I was like, "Oh, okay, this works," and then other times it's just like, it's so. I don't know. Maybe it's just because Monk.
Did you feel it was like out?
It's either that or SpongeBob. Like, it reminded me of the SpongeBob theme too.
You know what? Now you said that, I've got that running through my head and the opening credits,
because I've had it run through my head since last night. But yeah, I mean, that's instantly what it makes me think of and regret when I turned it on. However, to each their own. Music is subjective. I do want to talk about the cinematography and all the other things. So I really love, I thought the acting, the cinematography, and everything was the lighting, everything is like really good, except for one particular thing that really annoys me. These unmotivated, ridiculous Dutch angles. I know that this movie is known for this and it's like supposed to be a positive, but I don't get it. Like, they make no sense. Like, you use Dutch angles to like invoke a feeling of like uneasiness or fear, or, something that's like makes something like off kilter. I mean, that's the whole point of it, right? And I mean, there's just Dutch angles in this movie out of freaking nowhere that make no sense. And then when we get to that like Ferris wheelie kind of scene, like, I was like, okay, it's going to come together. Like, there's a reason why we keep seeing this. He's going to throw this guy off and kill him, or like there's something going to happen that is going to tie in all these Dutch angles, and it just doesn't. And it's just like, what the fuck? There's so many weird Dutch angles that just don't make any sense. And I get this, it's kind of like an impressionism vibe to it, but I mean, it's just, for a film like this, I just think it was a disservice because there's plenty of moments where they could have used them effectively, even like with the chase scenes and, just different moments where they could have done that and it could have been, effective, and they just chose to just throw them in there randomly. And that's really my biggest pet peeve about the film altogether. So I don't know. What did you think about those?
See, I wonder if that's like metaphorical, because I think a lot of this film, and probably the reason why people like it, is because a lot of it's quite metaphorical. So we're expecting like physical action, and it's not. It's about like the Ferris wheel moment is about kind of like him finally realizing what this person's actually like, and being like really smarmy and smirky about it. And do you know what I mean? Kind of like a world shattering moment, if that makes sense.
It.
I wonder if,
but like, there's no secret to the audience. I think the audience already fucking knows that this dude
was a bit dodgy.
Yeah, so it's like for me, it's like, well, if that's supposed to be like the what the fuck moment, I feel like that it didn't. That's too subtle. That's like too little to like have all of those Dutch angles leading up to it. And it's not like it stopped there either. You know what I mean? Because like the Ferris wheel scene was really cool. Like that was the moment where I was like, okay, this is where it can really tie in. And if one of them dies, like it would have been really cool to see. This is what I would have done. If it was me and we did this movie, I would have had Joseph Cotten throw Orson Welles off and kill him.
Oh,
right? That's what I would have done. And then the rest of the movie is him being wanted for murder.
But then we would only have seen Orson Welles for like 5 minutes,
which is fine, and that makes
a great deal of time anyway.
Right, but that's what makes the cameo important. That's what makes it like throws the audience off. Same thing as like Drew Barrymore in Scream, right? Like that was a what? They killed her already? Yeah. What? She was a huge star, right? And so Orson Welles, same thing. I mean, this is like his heyday. Like if they had thrown him off that Ferris wheel, that would have brought all of those Dutch angles together. It would have made sense. They were like, oh, this guy is off, right? So then he just killed him.
Let's throw him off.
That culminated to that. And now the movie changed, just like Psycho, right? In the middle of the movie, it goes into, well, not even the middle of the movie, like the first, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I can't remember. But it just goes in a different direction. That would have made this movie fucking exciting, right? Because the way it is right now, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I've seen this story before. Like many times. Like this isn't unfamiliar territory. Maybe in 49 when it was made. But at this point, I feel like it's so familiar, like this, just the entire stuff. And I've never seen it before, but just having this friend come, the person's dead, and then, this investigation, and he sticks around to investigate. I mean, and then what? And then he's a bad guy, and okay. Like, it's not very exciting.
As soon as he walked under the ladder, we knew he was having a bad day, didn't we? When he walked under the ladder in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's true. But yeah, so I mean, it's like the overall story to me is just, it falls flat. As to where the production side of it is really pretty. It's a good looking movie with great lighting, and the acting is really great. It's got a lot of amazing stuff going for it, with the exception of did you catch? So obviously there's a couple like shots in this film that are used for, teaching cinematography and things like that, like shots of like the tunnels and the the brick roads and things like that. And one of them is the shadow of Orson Welles running away on the wall. That is the most hilarious.
Such a delayed reaction, didn't he, to running away?
Well, it's not even like the delay.
Out, and then he just stood there for a little minute. And then he did this weird little run.
Well, it's like a weird little run is what it is. Yeah, it's not really the delay. It looks like he's kind of because, if you throw a light up like that to get a shadow, it has to be super focused. So the shadow's not soft, and this is noir. So they want a hard shadow, right? But you only have so much room. And, you got to be placed in the right spot to get the shadow, the size that you want and the focus of it you want, right? So you can tell when he's running, it's so funny looking because it's almost like he's moving as fast as he can, but running in place, but every couple steps moving forward. So it looks like he's moving, going forward. And it's so silly looking. And they show it twice. And I'm like, I would have really cut that down. But I mean, the cinematography is really good for the most part. If sans the Dutch angles, and that running shot, there's really no complaints. And the scenery is beautiful. I think it's shot in Vienna, at least for a lot of the stuff. And it just looks really amazing. And I mean, as much as like a completely devastated city can look, you know what I mean? Like it's very scenic. And Reed and his cinematographer, which I can't think of his name at the moment, they did a really great job with depth in the film, which is something I think people can really notice and pay attention to. Most of these shots, even if they're in sort of like medium close-up shots, there's this massive depth going on. There are layers to the city that you can see. It's not such a shallow focus where it feels almost like a diorama. Like it's so deep. When they're getting on the train.
It's very immersive.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Immersive, isn't it?
Yeah, and for the most part, they're lived in. You see people and things happening that aren't part of the story, that kind of thing. With the exception of being at the theme park thing, there's another funny, weird shot, like the running scene, where you see Joseph Cotton standing there waiting by the merry-go-round thing. Right? There's nobody. It's just him. Nobody. Right? And he's standing there waiting, and then Orson Welles starts to walk up, and all of a sudden, like 10 extras like walk into the fucking scene. One's getting on the merry-go-round, I'm like, what the hell happened?
His character is so shady, he may have paid them to suddenly just do like a flash mob. He seems to have his fingers in all the pies.
Yeah, it's like the AD is like, okay, background, and like everybody walks in and they just decided to like edit that into the movie. I don't know. It's so funny looking. So yeah, there's just some weird sort of, I don't know. I guess it's a technical thing, but maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe the idea is like they just opened the doors and somehow Cotton was already in I don't know. It's just really strange because there's nobody there. And then Orson Welles walks up and all of a sudden there's just a bunch of extras like flood the scene. It's like, what is happening?
That's his fan club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is my entourage. They kill babies too.
Back away.
Right. So, this is the story is he's watering down penicillin. Is that what it was?
Yeah. So he's stealing penicillin and then he's like watering it down or adding something to it to make more of it. And then that's having the side effects and obviously resulting in deaths.
Yeah, deaths or whatever the hell we went to
disfiguration.
Yeah.
Stuff, yeah.
Craziness. Yeah. What a horrible thing to do.
Why does that girl get mad at the end? Because he's gone to... what was going on in her mind? Is she okay with him killing babies? Does she think she's going to get married to him and they're going to have a baby and then it's just my husband. That's what he does.
Obviously, yeah. There's some... I mean, everybody...
No,
I guess has their own things. But yeah, it's... killers need love too, I guess.
Oh, I guess so.
I don't know. I really don't know. It's that's reason why it's like the script is not my favorite. I feel like it's got a lot of issues, but it's an interesting story, and I think that it's a unique kind of idea. And very dark.
I suppose as well. There is actually people in the world like that. Do you know what I mean? There's absolutely so many people that would marry a serial killer on death row. So I guess just because we think that it's madness. Again, there's a lot of people in the world that would behave like that, so I guess it's realistic.
For sure. I mean, if you think of like just even recently, like the whole Epstein thing and his wife, it's like how it's hard to believe that a woman would stand by and support that and be involved in it, but yet there we are, you know.
They do.
Yeah,
they do. Though when you see these these killers that take kids and stuff, 9 times out of 10 they're married and there's a woman that's lured them into the car. So
right, yep, it's crazy. It is. And you know, that's one of those things, like in my life, like we would live what's her name, man, I can't think of her name right now. That's terrible. The little girl that was kidnapped in Lake Tahoe, and then like 20 years later, they found her out here where I live in Antioch.
Oh.
Like right across the street. And, you know, she'd been like raped multiple times and had a child by this guy. And she was kept in a box, and not a box, but like a shabbily, is that a word?
It is in the UK.
Okay, a terribly like built like room she was being kept in and locked in, and yeah, it's horrible. And it was just weird because I lived up in Tahoe when it happened, and then now I live like literally like almost across the street from where she was found 20 years later.
Oh my God, you would definitely on the police radar.
Right? Yeah, I mean it's fucking weird, but yeah, in that scenario, the woman, the guy's wife, was a huge part of it. And helped lure her into the car.
Yeah.
And was a proponent of keeping her trapped and all this like crazy molestation. And like, it's just, I don't know. I just don't get it. It's super crazy. JC Dugan.
I don't know whether do they do it? I don't know whether they've changed it over there, but over here they used to. So for years they used to teach kids at school if you like stranger danger.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a problem though out here.
They used to say, go find a woman. That's what they used to tell kids. Go find a woman. Go find a woman. You know, because right or wrong, probably sexism the other way, you would assume that you would be safe because, a woman, you would assume a mother, perhaps with a kid, whatever. Go find a woman. The problem is you would naturally, if that's what you're being taught, if a woman said get in the car, you'd go, I've been taught that, stranger danger. It's okay for me to get in this car with this woman. Lo and behold, she drives you off to the person that, so now they've changed it completely. I think it's, oh God, I'd have to ask Lily, but it's something like, it's not, so you don't go to a woman, you don't go to a man, you go to a safe place that you know, or you have like a number that you text, or it's something like that, which is basically relying on yourself, not telling you to go with other people because of that issue.
It's kind of similar out here. The whole stranger danger thing ended up being kind of a mistake because they figured out soon after that most of the issues were family members, people close to the person. So they weren't really strangers that was happening with. And then, so out here, they tell you to yell fire or some other sort of like, natural disaster kind of thing, to draw attention, to whatever's happening. Go to a woman thing is interesting because I've never heard that.
Yeah,
but it makes total sense.
I got told that. Yeah. I got told that when I was at school, and that's 20 years ago. That's what I was taught.
Yeah, they told us, find a cop or find a, whoever, like a person of authority. But I mean, that doesn't really help either. Those can be bad people as well. But yeah, I've never heard of the go to the woman. I think that's really interesting. But
it was very, very standard practice from primary. And you're talking not just high school, you're talking from primary school. So you're talking like 5, 6, 7, 8. That's before you've even got to high school. So if your mum is somebody comforting, you wouldn't naturally think, okay, the woman that I go to is going to be like my mum. And probably 9 times out of 10, that's the case. But that one other time, it absolutely is not. And you know what people are like. They play on stuff like that and they find ways around it.
Absolutely.
So, so now it's completely checked because Lily has 3 safe places from walking home from school. So it's like a 10-minute walk. And
that's amazing. You guys did that, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So she has 3 safe places that she could realistically run to.
It's not like hide under this rock, crawl into the manhole and hide in the sewers. No.
Oh my God, no, it's not like it. So she has like and they're quite evenly spaced out. So she has the co-op, which is like a little corner shop type thing. But because she goes in there quite regularly, she gets to know the staff and the people and the layout and everything like that, and they know us. So she can go. So that's the first point of call. She could go in there and speak to somebody, or she could stay in there with somebody. The second one is, which sounds really daft, but it's like a kebab chip shop, which is the same thing because they know her really well. She gave them all Christmas presents for the past couple of years. She can go in there. They will walk her home. They will phone us. Like, she can stay there. And then the local pub, which is just past our house by about 6 doors, she can go in there. Everybody in there knows us, has our number, knows where we live. Like, she's absolutely safe in there.
Wow,
so
that's
she
pretty
has
cool.
those 3 points just on the way home from school.
Nice. That's amazing. Yeah, my kids, we were always too worried or scared to let them walk to school or ride their bikes, so we've always driven them.
Oh my God, I'm terrified, but street makes me be brave. I'm terrified. I watch far too much
and I think it's great for them to be able to, actually experience life and go out there. But I don't know, man, it's so crazy what people do today. It just seems so prevalent. Yeah, it's worrying. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad you guys have that.
Yeah. So that's probably why, like, that woman behaving the way she did.
It could be.
Just as she's obviously brought up in that world. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It could be. Yeah. There's no telling. I don't know what the motivation is. I wish there needs to be some more deep dive into like things like that with the writers But I mean, because you're talking like in the 40s, so stuff like like we're talking about didn't really wasn't really like common. Not that it didn't happen or anything, but wasn't super common until sometime around the 80s through the 90s. Did people really start learning about this stuff on a larger level? So who knows? But it's her motivation. Her reasoning is pretty out there. In my opinion, because I mean that's what a horrible person. What's his name? Williams, or I can't remember what.
Lime. He's a Harry Lime.
Wells. Oh, Lime. Harry Lime. Right. Where are Williams?
Harry Lime.
Harry Lime. Right. He's such a horrible person and doesn't care. Like he's just like, it's just money. All those little ants, they could all drop dead, and who cares, right? Which is a good scene.
It's quite a scary little speech, though, isn't it, actually? The speech is actually really atmospheric because he's quite scary because he's just like, I don't really care.
Yeah. And we got a cuckoo clock. Which I know is a famous line, but it's just like, okay. Guy's dark. But he's so happy. Right?
Yeah.
Orson Welles is just his jovial young Santa Claus.
He is very, very smiley. He's very happy with himself, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So, as we talked earlier, The Third Man is considered one of the greatest films of all time. Celebrated for its acting, its musical score, and its atmospheric cinematography. Not the script, but all the other things that came along. So, I'll just hold to my idea that the script is a problem. The British Film Institute voted The Third Man the greatest British film of all time. And in 2011, a poll which is kind of cool to me because I don't hear this all that often, but a poll of 150 actors, directors, and writers, and producers, and critics. So not just critics, which I think is super important for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because this is like being judged by your peers.
Yeah.
Which sometimes could be even more vicious or
valuable.
Or valuable, right. For Time Out, which I think is like a news organization, ranked it the second best British film ever, which is quite amazing. I mean, to have all of your peers.
It was the first.
Yeah.
Was the first film?
I don't know. It doesn't list, but I'm going to guess it's probably 39 Steps or something else, something high up in that level. So who knows, but and it's only, I'm pretty sure it's only British films that they're looking at, because it says second best British film ever. So yeah, it's
Mr.
gonna be
Bean's
one of
probably
those.
third.
Mr. Bean.
Yes, Mr. Bean Goes to America's probably third, love.
I would vote for it.
Oh, don't.
I love Mr. Bean, so whatever. Or Red Dwarf.
No.
What? Don't tell me you're
I'm
not
fed
a
up
Red
with Street
Dwarf fan.
calling me a smeghead. Every time I ask him to do cleaning or something, he just calls me a smeghead and then
smeg
throws
off.
something at me. He's
so
like, no, do not tell him to say smeg off.
I love it. Or you can just tell him to smoke you a kipper. Oh man, I love that show. It's great. The same person that introduced me to Millennium is the one that introduced me to Red Dwarf back in the 90s. So I didn't get to know Red Dwarf until they were airing Series 8 for the first time in America. And then I got to go back and
Didn't
watch
miss anything.
Hell, you shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. And funny enough, and I don't know if we've talked about this before, but another connection is, I think in Series 8, there's an episode called Ouroboros, which obviously is the symbol for Millennium, right? But there's this whole story where Lister he finds a box with a baby in it, and it's got an Ouroboros on it, and it turns out the baby is him, and he's in some sort of like weird time thing, time loop, like, because Ouroboros is an infinity kind of sign. Anyway, I thought it was super interesting because at the time I'm just learning about Millennium, and then I see this episode, like, wow, this is really cool. Everything's connected. But anyway, so
no.
Yes, you must love Red Dwarf. Sorry.
Smeg off.
Speaking about Green, so we already talked about him writing the book as kind of a treatment for the screenplay, and then later also got published, but or actually it was published, I think it might have been published like a year before the movie came out. It's kind of like at the same time. Anyway, they were both well received, so good for him. But the book has a noticeable difference where the perspective of it was the perspective of Callahan. Or sorry, Calloway, not Callahan, because he's not Irish.
Not Callahan.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting, and it makes me want to read it because that could completely change the movie, right? Like that would be very different.
Yeah.
From his perspective.
I'd quite like to read that actually myself.
Right. Because I think if you're seeing less of Joseph Cotton's character and what he very well could look like a suspect or not. I mean, it really depends because there's different times he's treated differently by Calloway.
Yeah.
For the most part, dismissive.
I think that different point of view would be quite interesting, though.
Right,
it would make scenes like, when like the kids yelling that he did it and they're all chasing him like bloodhounds
right.
down the street. It would make stuff like that even more like, well, are they right? Did he do it? It would make you sort of, up until that like Ferris wheel bit, it would make you kind of 50-50. You wouldn't quite know where your loyalties lied. So it probably would be more shocking on the Ferris wheel then.
Yeah, I think that would have worked out pretty well. Yep. I also found out that there is something with the ending too. I'm not 100% sure what it is. I've only could find that there's a sad ending and a happy ending. So during the shooting of the film, the final scene was a point of tension between Green and Selznick, who's the producer, the studio head, David O. Selznick, who we regularly hear that name pop up and having issues with people.
Yep.
Yeah. And Selznick, I guess, wanted the happy ending from the book, and Reed refused. Because he felt it was artificially happy. And Green later said one of the very few major disputes between Reed and Green concerning the ending has proven to be triumphantly right. So I guess that's a good thing. You know, the way it ends, I don't know. Everybody seems to agree, but, you know. But
I think it goes with the realistic tone. The way it ended, it goes with the realistic tone of how many people, I know this is a bit of a larger scale, like with police and stuff, but how many people have you done a good turn to when they've turned around and basically might as well have spat in your eyeball and been like, and just walked off? Oh, right, okay, fair enough, then.
I think that's
It's
strictly
kind of
like
similar.
A New York and British thing.
Look, okay, so everybody else in the world is nice.
To you. Yeah. Well, I mean, not nice necessarily, but literally, like, it feels like that's really New York attitude and UK attitude. Like,
yeah.
Like, you guys got this obsession with just being mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's not. I don't think
when someone has manners, people fall over and give you free stuff.
It's true.
It's ridiculous.
Like, just be so mean till when you're nice, they want to just give you everything.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God. Like when Lily says please and thank you, but again, this is it, you see, this is the mean bit. So she's really polite because we've made her be. Yeah. However, she's clicked on that if she is polite, she gets free stuff.
Okay, clicked on.
So then she will purposely go somewhere and be polite with the intention of getting free stuff, which is actually
smart girl.
A bit mean. It's actually a bit mean, though.
I mean, perspective is everything. Okay, English British dictionary. Clicked on.
Clicked on. Discovered.
Discovered. Clicked on. Discovered.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Discovered. Clicked on. I don't get it. All right. Cool.
You're going to be English by the end of this.
Maybe. I'll have to remember all these terms. Yeah. Garage.
Yeah. Boot.
Boot.
Boat.
So the Academy Awards nominated the movie for 3 categories: Best Director, Best Cinematography for black and white because color was around at that time, Best Film Editing. And rightly so, I think that it only won for Best Cinematography. However, I probably wouldn't even have given it that because of the damn Dutch angles. But everything else was so solid with cinematography. I think that that's good. The editing, I would never have given it that. I really feel like it was just a little long. It went on too long. Some of those scenes could have been cut down. I think that certain weird things like the running shadow scene and then the extras and the amusement park scene, just certain things like that were just not edited properly, in my opinion. So I got a problem with that one, and I don't even know why it was nominated. Best Director I could see because I do think it's directed very well. Like I think that the acting is great, and the atmosphere, everything is like pitch perfect as far as that goes. Unless he's the reason for the Dutch angles, I don't know. Otherwise, yeah, that would be. I would only really agree with the cinematography one. And then the British Film Academy, I guess it only was nominated for 2, for Best Film and Best British Film. So like, screw all the other categories. They're just like, overall, it's just a great film. Okay. And it won for Best British Film, but not for the Best Film. And I'm not sure what won for Best Film at the time anyway. And then Cannes won for the Palme d'Or, which was, that's pretty big too.
Nice. That's big. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then because it's so well received, just a year or 2 later, it spawned 2 radio shows. Joseph Cotton reprised his role as Martins in a 1-hour radio show for the Theater Guild on the Air. And they did a 1-hour play on 2 different broadcasts, I guess. So I guess that's going to be, I don't know if that's, I'm a little confused on that, if it was 2 half hours or if it was 1 hour each. I'm not really sure, but
I'm not sure. Usually with radio shows, they would have been shorter, but
what I would think. Yeah. So it's a little confusing on what it is, but yeah. And then the British radio series, The Adventure of Harry Lime, came out. It's around the same time, really, in 1951. And Wells, I believe, was a part of that as well. I think he played Lime, and he also wrote some of the episodes. So that's pretty interesting, because that seems to be a pretty big theme back then. If something is pretty successful, they would turn it into a radio show. However, fairly more unique is that there was also a television spinoff that starred Michael Rennie as Harry Lime, and it was pretty successful because it ran for 5 seasons. And I think that's less of a commonality back then. Like, things typically were done as radio shows or like specials on the radio, that kind of thing, or even like a live thing I've seen before. But
yeah, like the Quatermass experiment.
Yeah, but as a television spinoff, that's fairly unique. I'm sure it's happened a few times, but and then to be that successful and run for 5 seasons, I'm just thinking, like, what the heck was that show about? You know?
Yeah, there's one. I think, is it The Fugitive that was one of the few,
yes,
like sort of successful shows like that kind of nature.
Yeah, and that was pretty big. Yeah,
I quite like that.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. But again, it's like one of those shows where if you really got to suspend disbelief, because The Fugitive, it's like, I mean, they would have fucking caught the dude. Like,
oh, yeah. 100%.
Not that he wasn't ever
he
caught.
Butts his nose.
Yeah.
He butts his nose into everything, doesn't he? He just can't help it. Just go work on a farm and milk the cows.
Right. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
End of the show.
Start investigating.
Right.
Like, just leave it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things, I guess they have to do that. So, there's drama in another episode, but I mean, it's really, the premise in itself becomes kind of silly because it's like, you don't want to get caught. You are a fugitive, just lay low, but you can't. And that's kind of the same thing.
The excitement becomes like, what job is he going to have this week?
Right. Yeah, no, seriously, because it's funny because.
How's he getting them?
Yeah. Have you checked out the new show Poker Face?
No.
Oh, you need to check it out. So it's by Rain Johnson from Knives Out.
Oh yeah.
So it's very similar to Columbo. They even like do the titles like Columbo. She's got dialogue pieces like Columbo. There's also references to Murder, She Wrote. Nothing from Dick Van Dyke. I can't think
Diagnosis
of the
Murder.
Diagnosis Murder. Yeah.
Cheeky devils.
Right. But yeah, it's really fun. It's really interesting, but it's kind of the same thing. It's like every week she's got a new job and gets herself embroiled in this like murder plot. And her whole shtick is that she can tell when somebody's lying just by looking at you. And she doesn't know why, she doesn't know how. It's just sort of like a sixth sense kind of, she can tell if you're lying about something. And it's pretty interesting and it's fun, and the stories are pretty crazy and weird and fun. But you should check it out. Maybe we should do a show, because it definitely has like some noir sort of aspects, not visually, but more charactery kind of stuff. But you should watch it. It's pretty fun. So if you like Knives Out at all, or I don't think you're much of a Columbo fan, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, might have to have a look at that.
Yeah. All right, Carly, I think we're ready to rate the movie. I'm curious how you feel about it, because I think I was pretty open, but yeah. And as such, you need to go first.
I knew that was coming.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. To be fair, I agree with you actually about the length. So the main thing that I don't necessarily
You also agree with me about
film.
Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf's amazing, so let's just put that.
Smagheads, it's rubbish. I think it's a little bit long for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I get why, the suspense and everything like that. But personally, I didn't like so much of seeing the opening. With Cotton.
The 100 guitar strings playing, that opening?
I feel like there was just so much. And I get why, but I would have liked to have seen a bit more of a different perspective of somebody else, or less of his perspective. Because it got to the point where at one stage I thought, am I watching the right film? Because it's only him. really going around investigating things. And he got told the same thing so many times and came to the same conclusion and then still went off and continued. I would have liked to have seen the Harry Lime character in sooner. Again, that may have hurt it. But I think maybe, like you said about the manuscript, if it had been a different perspective altogether, I think that would have been much more interesting for me. Yeah. Having said that, I did really enjoy it. I did quite like it. I like the acting. I liked Trevor Howard. Did not like the female character. I wouldn't necessarily go out my way to watch it. I've actually only watched the last half an hour of it before because my mum only watches the bit with Orson Welles in.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So I've technically watched it before many times, but I've only watched the same bit over and over again. I've not seen the beginning. So maybe that's a bit why I felt it was a bit boring as well to begin with.
You already know what happens in the end, so yeah, that sucks.
Exactly. I kind of know what's happening, and I'm like, what? Where is he? Where is he? He's here somewhere. And I'm a big Orson Welles fan as well, so
yeah.
I personally probably would have preferred to switch the roles if we were going to see more of that other character.
Sure. Yeah.
And it'd been him. And then, Cotton was just appeared. So probably give it about a 7. I'm going to say 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's respectable. Yeah. So, I mean, I covered a lot of mine already. Like really the Dutch angles, did it in the script itself, I think is pretty flat. I think if it was edited more tightly that, I might have had less issue with the script, but I still think that it needed something dramatic to really happen. And I don't think him just discovering that his friend is really a shitty person was dramatic enough. Because, I mean, it's set up that way. Either he is or he isn't, and he's being set up, you know what I mean, or whatever, which would have been more dramatic than him being a shitty friend because, whatever.
It leads one way very quickly, doesn't it, I think?
Yeah. I mean, it does, and it's it's not dramatic enough to me. So the sort of loose editing kills the suspense, and the script not having a big enough twist there kills it for me. And I do like the idea of the different perspective of the book. However, as you were mentioning that, I was realizing, well, if it did do that, this probably wouldn't be a film noir film because we're not following our typical noir character, right? We'd be following a cop. And his character is not at all really a noir lead, right?
No, so, he's very, he's got his head screwed on. He doesn't seem to have a gambling problem, so.
Right. So it would feel more almost like a military police film, or like a, something along those lines. It would be a different movie, really, on several different levels. So I'm not sure that would fix this film per se as a noir, but it would be interesting. The music, it just, and again, maybe it's just my own issue with it because it reminded me of a couple different things, and it's so not noir normal that it really stands out, and so it did bug me a bit. But so overall, I mean, I thought it was really pretty to look at. I think the cinematography and the lighting was fantastic, and the acting is really great. I mean, how can you go wrong with Cotton and Wells? And what's his name? Howard? I don't know who that is, but he's good.
Trevor Howard
as well. Yeah. And so was his little military guy.
His little lackeys.
Yeah. I mean, he was kind of fun because he's like, I'm taking orders, but man, I'm a fan of yours. You know what I mean? It's like,
did I have an autograph? Stop asking him.
It was a fun dynamic. It's one of the things that they got right with the script, and but yeah, I think overall I probably would watch it again, just because I'm a big Wells fan, and I do think the cinematography is really cool, and it was fun to watch it, knowing that when an image would pop up that I'm very familiar with, to see it in the film was pretty cool. But I don't think it's as good as a movie as All You Brits Do. And I would only give it 5 gens out of 10. Unfortunately, because I really, going into this, I thought I was going to really love it. Because, I mean, it's like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Audience score is like 99 or something like that. And, I don't know. Maybe I set it up for failure in my head. I don't know. Not really sure.
I think the problem is that sometimes with films like this, because they're used so often and they're referenced so often, they become like almost too familiar. So, like, I wish that we could go and watch these films when they were out. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, that would be amazing. If Guy Pearce rolled up with his time machine, the first thing I'd say is, Guy, me and Jason, we need to go. Here's a list of films.
You realize there was a time machine movie before Guy Pearce, right?
Listen, Guy Pearce is the only person taking me back in time, okay? Just so we're clear.
Okay.
I really can't imagine what it would have been like to watch a film like this at that time. And I think we both would have had massively different perspectives on it then. But now we're watching it however many years later. We've both seen clips, like essays, studied it, loads of different stuff. And it kind of, sometimes it loses its originality and its magic when it shouldn't, but it does.
Sure. No, I agree with you. I think you're absolutely right. That would be amazing. I really do wish that those were, if we can't invent time travel, it would be neat if we were able to invent something that would allow people to experience things from the past as if it's new. I don't know what that would be.
As if it's new.
Memory wiping? I don't really know.
Yeah. What's that Schwarzenegger thing where they put chips in your head? Total Recall.
Total Recall, yeah.
Yes. Well, somebody invent that, please.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. We hope you enjoyed us talking about this horrible movie. I'm kidding. This fantastically celebrated British film. And we hope you enjoy your baby killer and not kill babies.
Say do not kill any babies because we can't afford someone to sue us.
Right. And until next time.
Bye-bye.
He's looking at you, kid.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Speakeasy Noircast. Make sure to visit our website, resurrectionfilms.net, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or any of your favorite podcast apps so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, The Dark Side of Acting Up, and The Dark Side of Acting Up Volume 2, now available on Amazon. Or you can check out one of our films, also available on Amazon Prime. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Speakeasy Noircast.